Wrestlemania the arcade game was Mortal Kombat meets the WWF. Is a kinda strange game, and it had a kinda strange promo tape. The Super Nintendo port of Wrestlemania the arcade game is actually the first wrestling game I ever bought back in the day. I suppose that is kind of appropriate for me, as this is the Mortal Kombat wrestling game. Now, of course, I'd played some of the not Mortal Kombat-y wrestling games previous to this. One of my friends owned Royal Rumble for Super Nintendo, which was the first wrestling game I played a lot of. Now, bad segue, Wrestlemania the arcade game was originally released in 1995. It was the late 90s though when I really started getting into wrestling, so by 1999, it and Pokemon were my main interests, which I guess resulted in me drawing this. Meowthkind. Yes, that's right, that is indeed Meowthkind I drew. Pretty sweet, I know. And I'm sure it was 99 that I drew this picture, since I have Meowth in the Mankind referee outfit that Mick Foley was wearing during part of that year. Was it important for me to tell you any of that? No. Oh, look at that silly Bret Hart trying to Russian leg sweep an arcade cabinet. They don't have legs. Really though, that's gotta be one of the worst moves to try and take an arcade cabinet down with. Speaking of the worst, the Super Nintendo port of Wrestlemania the arcade game is probably actually the worst version of the game, as it removes Yokozuna and Bam Bam Bigelow from the roster, leaving you with only 6 playable wrestlers. Meaning you're gonna have a lot more mirror matches and people teaming up with themselves.
Tonight's matchup, Bret Hart versus Doink the Clown, and Doink the Clown.
I know they did the double doinks back in the day, but what they really needed was triple doinks. I guess Jericho could have been the third doink. Even with only 8 or 6 wrestlers, Wrestlemania the arcade game was still pretty fun, with being able to have wrestlers perform over-the-top ridiculous Mortal Kombat style moves. Bret Hart even has the Mortal Kombat uppercut.
Midway unleashed to the arcades, Wrestlemania.
To thine own self be true.
With the most true-to-life wrestling you've ever seen.
Yes, the arcade game is what I would consider the most realistic wrestling game. I always loved when Undertaker shot souls at people or Razor Ramon's arms turned into blades. The graphical style of the game looks like Mortal Kombat, with Midway using the same technique as they did for Mortal Kombat by digitizing the actual wrestlers to create their sprites.
With live, digitized WWF wrestling action.
It even largely plays like Mortal Kombat, with you doing button combinations to perform certain special moves. And since the game was so much like Mortal Kombat, there were of course rumors about being able to do fatalities in it. Which was sorta true, but for one character only, The Undertaker. And only in the arcade version. I definitely wasted some time back in the day trying to get this to work on the Super Nintendo version. However, in the actual arcade version of the arcade game, The Undertaker can throw his opponent into a casket which will lower and then a tombstone will rise. Supposedly at one point, every character in the game was going to have a fatality like this, but Vince McMahon didn't like it, which resulted in all of them getting scrapped except The Undertaker's in the cabinet version. And I guess, which shows how much the WWF was changing around this time period, just the next year with the follow-up game, WWF In Your House, every character did in fact have a fatality type move called a super pin. A bunch of them just kind of involved the character dropping a giant item, squashing the opponent.
They'll be talking about that match for a long time. Perfect. Can anybody stop him?
Pin him! Also, sometimes the game gets a little confused and tells you to pin them again after they're dead. Vader has a rather ridiculous variant of the squash them fatality where his ass grows. Yes, seriously.
Big win, McMahon.
Maybe they looked at In Your House and said, a wrestler is all about having a big butt. That could be an idea. Undertaker has a much more green, not nearly as flashy version of his Tombstone fatality from the arcade game.
Perfect. Congratulations!
Some of these get a bit confusing, like Bulldog's, I guess, smothering them with the Union Jack flag fatality.
Perfect. Every dog has its day.
Goldust turns you into a statue of him?
Big win, McMahon.
Triple H pulls one of his classics where he uses his signature weapon. Oh no, not a sledgehammer, silly. No, his signature weapon is obviously a perfume bottle, which he sucks you up into?
Big win, McMahon.
He truly is the game of games. But definitely the most brutal fatalities in the game are Ahmed Johnson's and the Ultimate Warriors.
Big win, McMahon. Big win, McMahon.
So it went from, I don't like that relatively tame finisher, pal, to, sure, explode them into charred bones, it's all good, ha ha ha. On the cutting room floor, you can see some of the animations and sprites that were done for some of the other intended fatalities for the arcade game. With Bam Bam Bigelow firing you, Doink squashing you with a ball, Lex growing a metal beam out of his elbow, and Razor slicing his opponents in half. I suppose if you thought your product was family friendly at the time, that might be a bit much. The other big rumor surrounding this game was that Adam Bomb was a hidden character in it, which wasn't actually true, but he was meant to be in the game originally and recorded footage for it. Most of the sprite work was done for Adam Bomb as well, but he was cut due to running out of space. There was also a referee intended at one point too who had a lot of his sprite work done. I'm guessing you're going to be able to take the referee out and then use the grabbable steel chair, which was also scrapped. This all probably seemed a little pointless though, considering the weapons your characters can pull out of their butts with their regular moves. Also, one more wrestler was originally meant to be in the game, Mr. Perfect.
Vince McMahon here along with Mr. Perfect. Perfect.
But he apparently no-showed his recording for his sprites.
That's nowhere near perfect.
Our promo video here was released by Coliseum Video, who handled most of the WWF home video releases before they created WWF Home Video.
Midway unleashed to the arcades, Wrestlemania.
Wait, seriously? You're gonna show the Game Freeze not even a minute in? Great showcase, guys. So this tape is hosted by good old Todd Pettengill, who had the job of hosting most things like this before that was passed down to tremendous old Michael Cole.
This action is so real, it's like the WWF superstars are in the game.
Oh, the wrestlers were EA Sports?
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Wait, so Bret Hart chose to play as Doink instead of, oh, I don't know, Bret Hart?
You know, Doink is the real excellence of execution.
Maybe he just really liked the idea of making Lex Luger job to Doink.
Now you guys know about fully rendered digitized graphics, don't you? Duh! It only means the wrestlers look lifelike.
Oh, well thanks for explaining it so clearly, Todd.
Some of the top WWF superstars reveal secret codes and gameplay tips, like The Undertaker's Demon Throw. Or how about Razor Ramon's Rug Shaker?
Sadly enough, The Undertaker throwing souls or demons was still more likely to happen than that Rug Shaker move. Anyone remember when Undertaker and Kane were throwing lightning and fireballs around? They would have fit right in here. A chicken falls out of Yokozuna?
After being locked up with an opponent, do a reversal. That'll save you from having a power move performed on you.
Just do it somehow! Neat tip. I got another hot tip for you. When your opponent tries to attack you, avoid it. Taking damage is bad.
Or if you want to pick up your opponent, just hit power punch, power kick.
Oh, Lex can't pull that off unless he's on a boat.
Now, if you were going to design a WWF arcade game, who would you enlist as your expert consultant? Someone who knows firsthand the challenge of WWF wrestling. Someone who is an expert in his field.
Someone who I'm sure loves that instead of playing his own theme, you're playing the Triple H Drink Milk Love Life entrance music.
Drink milk, love life.
Do all you do.
Living with vitality.
Seriously though, I love Bret Hart, but I don't think Ode to Joy has ever really fit Bret Hart, even pre-Montreal Screwjob.
I was hands-on all the way.
I tried to kill Sean with a forklift.
When the hitman starts something, he does it right the first time.
I don't know how to tell him that we don't need that for anything.
You have to do your homework.
Oh, look, Bret's now got a suit jacket on over his wrestling gear. Now that's funny. Mostly because this would be way more dressed up than any actual video game programmer ever would be.
For weeks, I worked on every possible task. My first challenge was to educate everybody here about the science of WWF wrestling.
Bret Hart was an average wrestler, but he was a brilliant scientist.
For this, we required the help of the biggest names in the World Wrestling Federation.
And Doink the Clown, for some reason.
Then it was time to get really busy. Working with artists and programmers, we crammed all the WWF energy into a video game.
I want this to have the energy of someone sitting there bored editing together stupid Doink sprites.
Come on, you guys. There it is, right there in front of you the whole time. You're dereferencing a no pointer.
And also, I need you to make sure you reference me being on Lonesome Dove the Outlaw years in my ending. That's super important.
Bret's ending also mentions him doing Broadway productions, which I guess is kind of foreshadowing his great role as the genie in that Aladdin show.
I am the genie of the lamp.
Uh-oh, it's that evil magician Abanazir. Time for the sharpshooter.
Oh, for Shawn Michaels' ending, he can get molested in the ring by a bunch of fans. That's a good ending for him. And for some reason, let's make Razor's ending super depressing. He'll get beaten to an inch of his life, have his belt stolen, and then go missing and open a pawn shop.
Bret? Are you okay?
I think we both know the answer to that is no.
Seriously though, we were really robbed on the home versions of this game by them taking out these ridiculous endings.
Is that alright?
Yes, that's perfect. That's how you should sell every move in the game, Bret.
Just like that. Now that's how you build a game.
Wow, can you believe how much work goes into these things?
You're a small man, Todd. And you are showing way too much excitement. Take it down. All the way down.
I think it's time for our first WWF superstar, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Hey fans, Bam Bam Bigelow here, and boy, have I got some red hot secrets, moves, and strategies for you.
First off, at the character selection screen, make sure you choose anyone other than me, even Doink.
For my mayhem move, the pogo pile driver, hit down, down, power kick, then tap the power punch button.
Man, Bam Bam isn't protecting Undertaker at all with that. What an unsafe worker. Sure, setting him on fire probably isn't too great for him either.
The man has tattoos on his head.
Welcome to Wrestling Mysteries with Todd Pettengill. We're going deep today.
Now, let's say you select Lex Luger.
In that case, what you want to do is press the reset button.
Try the 17-hit combo. You hit kick, power punch, punch, kick.
And look at that, Bret didn't sell that at all. Oh shit, he was really Hulk Hogan the whole time.
Now, for the mayhem move, the Morning Star, hit towards, and power kick.
Wow, who knew Lex Luger was too extreme for ECW even?
Let's take you now to the man from the dark side, The Undertaker.
He's gonna tell you about being annoyed at the computer for being overly blocky.
I usually don't like to give away secrets about my Undertaker, but for you video game fans, I think I can dig up a few.
Okay, Paul Bear giving out combos to perform moves is definitely one of the highlights of this entire video.
Hit down, toward, and punch.
Down and power punch. Hit kick. Power kick. Power punch. And punch.
To rest in peace, all you must do is press back, forwards, up, down, and power punch!
I have one more bonus mayhem move. The Demon Dizzy.
There is nothing that pleases the Howler Power more than the Demon Dizzy.
We have to prepare for the eventual arrival of our Howler Power.
Paul likes to play video games. Oh, yes.
Wow, perhaps Todd Pettengill should have been the Howler Power the whole time.
But I am oozing with more tips for you.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Hit down, away, and kick. Rest in peace.
All right, now, let's say you choose Doink the Clown. Here are some great codes for you. The Boxing Glove Smash.
Put a boxing glove on and smash your system.
Just hit the punch button rapidly.
Wow, what a combination. Thanks for sharing that super secret button mashing move, Todd.
The Electric Joy Buzzer. All you have to do is hold the punch button for 3 seconds. Now that's shocking.
If you want to make the Hitman even more unstoppable, I have some great moves for you. To execute a pile driver, hit towards, and power punch.
For some reason, my pile driver looks an awful lot like a shoulder breaker.
They're screwing up pile drivers all over the place in this game as The Undertaker does his tombstone pile driver with the opponent flipped around the wrong way. They did fix this in your house.
Now this next move is really cool. I have 2 different types of 16-hit combos. One ends with a pile driver, and the other ends with a flying clothesline.
Interesting that's Brett being up Sean during all this. This is kind of turning into Brett's original WrestleMania 13's plans pitch.
I wanted to break Sean's foot. I would walk over and stand over top of him and go, "Fuck you."
I don't know in what world that would have actually happened, but I want to go there because it's very amusing to imagine WrestleMania 13 going down that way.
Now for my mayhem move, the sharpshooter. When your opponent has fallen, stand at his feet and hit power punch.
You have to press buttons after you put the sharpshooter on to do more damage with it, unlike what they're doing here.
You think you can handle this much machismo?
No, I'm never playing the game. I don't know why Brett is carrying all these hearts around with him, but it's time to take them away. You know, Sean carries hearts around with him too. Maybe if Brett and Sean knew they had so much in common, it could have saved them a bunch of fights.
Now hold on, man. Here comes my mayhem move. The rug shake.
It's one of my signature moves that you'll never see me do.
I am oozing.
You know, I never understood why in this game it looks like Undertaker grabs you in the crotch with his weird pin.
My groin.
Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid here with some smooth moves and some hot tips. Hit, kick, away, and power kick.
Probably would have looked a bit better if Stupid Doink wasn't blocking the whole thing.
Now get ready for Lex Luger's great tips on how to play as him.
Folks, that's all this time for the Toddster and this edition of Strategy Guide.
Oh man. Then, kind of randomly, there's a bit on here about them creating the Raw intro where they filmed on the roof of Titan Towers.
Welcome to Stamford, Connecticut. Yeah.
What if we put a ring on top of the roof of Titan Tower? We were just getting our feet wet on shooting film and on film production, and there was a lot that we had no clue about.
So we said, Sean, go up there and tell us if it goes poorly.
Yeah.
They're always breaking new ground. We're gonna do something special tonight.
You know, you got all these fans up there, you got all these different wrestlers, anything can happen.
Well, we didn't say it had to be good, we just said anything could happen.
And then we said, is it possible? We don't know. But if it is, we're gonna do it.
Turns out it's not possible. We all just wasted a lot of time. Sorry, guys.
I remember it took forever. Of course, we had to wait till dark. It was a long night. There was a lot of work involved in that, I know.
I was so sick of that Royal Rumble pinball game by the time we got done. I just wished I had WrestleMania the arcade game with me.
Power punch!
What you need to do is build up. What we need to do is lower this on the roof. He's the one and only Kerwin Silky.
Look at this loving embrace. We are both totally comfortable right now.
Let's pan down. Take a look at the socks. No, they're only white.
Was there something usually exciting about his socks?
We're scheduled in about 10 minutes to shoot the shot.
This is coming off like Vince is trying to sabotage his own production. Well, I guess that'd be far from the first or last time things came off that way.
We have nearly 7 hours of footage for a 40-second opening.
Sounds like an editing nightmare.
It's gonna be some good stuff in there.
7 hours of footage, all unusable. Damn.
All of this is somehow magically going to wind up on videotape and is going to be on television. It's a real hoot.
Tune in for WWF Raw. It's a real hoot.
For once, I get to dance and keep all my clothes on.
Give me a year and I won't be, though.
Who knows what's gonna happen up there?
Vince McMahon always says anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
It's a real hoot.
While we were doing this, I thought, well, this is a lot of wasted time and energy.
It's a real hoot.
Of course, I was right.
The town was angry. The town called the Sanford Police Department, and they wanted us to shut down. They said that the noise was just too overwhelming.
Well, this is a lot of wasted time and energy.
Power punch! You know how replanning this thing is gonna take if you fall?
Fuck you.
It's a total debacle.
And that's the story of the roof. One time they said, let's shoot on the roof. And they did. To shoot on the roof with the Undertaker, you must press forward, forward, down, power kick, then forward, down, forward, power punch.
And for the Howler Power, it's a real hoot.
This video was a colossal mistake. Thank you all for joining me.
I don't like this movie, doesn't look too friendly. This bootleg is so fake, that toy is gonna break. Famous, don't let me down, you need to be around. Grab that chocolate pizza, I even like it cause I want. Famous, so famous, bring on Mortal Comedy. Famous, so famous, an animation movie. Famous, so famous, what really is so fun. Famous, so famous, what's your opinion about?
You know, this poster is specifically for the Super Nintendo version of Wrestlemania, the arcade game, yet they showed you a nice picture of the arcade cabinet being played with Yokozuna in it, who of course is one of the characters they cut out of the Super Nintendo port.